ang pupuntahan nila.
Yeah, speaking, I was about to say, Harith actually, especially in the gold lane, we've seen it in the streams of Blacklist International. So Harith also rising up as a gold laner. His damage, most recently, tinasan yung damage niya sa patch 1.6.5. He is a very valuable option now in the gold lane. Well, he has been a viable option, pero now even more so, Nathan has fallen out of favor for a lot of the teams with picks such as Lily performing well in the gold lane, Brody performing well, even Popol and Koopa.
Blacklist International as we enter the land of dawn. Ito na yun, prime time, Bren versus Black.
Ooh. Position 4 and 5, Edith. I think this is going to be a pause for Edith, yes. And then they're going to be having the roam boot onto the Estes, unless it's going to be the other way around. Amo kasi Haji yung naka-roam boots kasi yung XP right now napupunta mo mas madalas napunta kay kay Estes eh.
And ito medyo tahimik ang ating laro. Wala pa naman tayong nakikitang big invades. But in terms of rotations, if you umalis na agad ng mid lane, he's currently level 2 at naghahanap na agad ng pressure dito kay Owl in the gold lane.
Oh. See, both teams are now being very calculated. Kung saan sila gagalaw sa mapa, how are they gonna be clearing their minion waves? How will they maximize their ability to win their lanes? Either Dominic making sure that he gets that cannon, that siege minion. Abyssal Arrow hits, but just forcing out the Purify from the hands of Oh My Venus.
That's the first big Abyssal Arrow coming in from Few here kay Mr. Archangel. Tamaan si John Marvilla Luna with the Purify being burned. That's 1 minute without the Purify for Mr. Villaluna. And magiging magiging massive if ever they do go for mythic fights. Pero si Medivh na ata ang uunahin nila. Still, no kills, no? Nakaka-surprise na pressure lang talaga ang laruan ng both teams dito.
Yeah. Interesting thing to note here, roam boots for both the Lina and the Ruby. Both of them have roam boots up. Dire hit. Blessing there for Medivh, for Mr. Arcangel, and Conceal there for Joy Boy's Ruby.
Bren Esports, they are ahead of 300, 200 gold. Di pa naman ganun kalaki ang ating gold lead. In fact, Turtle will be started here by Saksa. Mukhang Turtle secured na ata at binigay lang ng libre ng Blacklist International. Alam nilang power spike ng Lancelot ngayon and they shouldn't fight that or contest ng agad-agad.
This Claude on the hands of Kev on the side of Bren Esports. Killing spree emblem niya. Slightly nerfed. Instead of 15% of a heal, you get 12% heal, but it is still an impactful thing to have na pag nakuha ng kill dun si Kev, so be able to heal through it. Same thing goes for Saksa Jago. So Blacklist International has to watch out for that. They're gonna need to be able to burst down that Claude or that Lancelot. If not, they're gonna be seeing team fights turned around in their faces if they're not careful. But right now, both teams doing a really good job of just maximizing the farm that they can get. Dahil yung unang turtle na punta sa side ng Bren Esports, of course, they have this very small lead early on, but Blacklist International still keeping it close. Great play by both squads so far.
Abyssal Arrow here comes the Abyssal Arrow. Haji, medyo mabilis lang naman pala yung stun na yon. Kinailangan mag-back agad ni Few. And Owl,
another one.
A long-range Abyssal Arrow, and Few on fire. Talagang tumatama ang Abyssal Arrow, sadyang wala pang napo-convert na kills.
Oh,
here comes the final execution, Haji. Nako, mukhang delikado para sa MVP of Season 8. And wala pa rin kills. 4 minutes na.
Around late into the 5-minute mark, makita natin yung flicker babalik dito ni Haji, babalik dito sa kamay ni Haji. But since Bren Esports were able to force out a flicker, they have one less thing to worry about. Of course, the setup potential from an Edith flickering in and then using that second skill, just like an ejector combo toss from the Jawhead. Great play there by Bren Esports to force out that flicker.
Yeah, and this is a very, very silent game from Bren Esports and Blacklist International. May mga nararamdaman tayong mga umaamba pero wala talagang pumapagsak ng mga kills. And right now, no, Turtle will be started by Bren Esports. Natin see here and Dominic. Nako, napakagandang hila galing kay Joy Boy. And here comes the kills coming in from the Queen herself. But the Turtle will be going to the hands of Bren Esports at magbaback na rin sila. First blood, mapupunta rin sa kamay ni Saksa Jad.
Calculated team fight by both squads. Their great positioning from Haji and Joy Boy respectively. But at the end, it was a great pull by Joy Boy to give Bren Esports that small window to actually win that team fight, and eventually they were able to. Tower gets broken topside by Bren Esports. Blacklist International only lost one so far. So, low kill game, but nakita natin dito yung mastery talaga ng dalawang teams in terms of managing their minion wave, prioritizing the objective team fights, being able to win victories via objectives. Tower already broken there by Bren. And the first item pick up here by Joy Boy. Dominance Ice para mabawasan yung healing ng Blacklist International.
And that is a very early dominance ice coming in from Joy Boy. Naninigurado lang, you are facing an Estes. In fact, the best Estes in the world currently. And Blacklist International, kailangan mo talagang bilisan ang dominance ice na yan. Wow! You really landing those abyssal arrows. Sadyang ang ganda ng positioning ng Blacklist International para protektahan yung mga natatamaan ng abyssal arrows. But the flicker is burnt already for Dominic. It's a 3v1 dive. I'm offended. Tumama na rin. Phantom execution. Here comes the kills. Going down for the side of Bren Esports. Isa na namang kill. Mapupunta kay Saksa Chago. Pero sabi ng Blacklist International, sige, train tayo ng isang turn.
Great call by both teams right now. Blacklist International baka makukuha ng isa pang Torre. Blacklist losing Dominic there in the bottom lane. Bren Esports Medivh trying to defend Arcangel. You cannot hold on. So just like that, Blacklist International found a window of an opening, forcing a rotation topside. Pero Bren Esports nakasagot din sa bottom lane, able to break the tower down there. Nasira din nila yung Torres sa gitna. So again, still very great trades all throughout the map para sa dalawang teams natin.
Yeah, and the gold lead is just 1.5k gold lead for the side of Bren Esports, no? Pero Turtle na naman ang sisimula ng Bren, and mukhang controlled nila ang lahat ng Turtles sa laro na to as Lord na ata ang sunod na lalabas. Blacklist International, they're slowly losing the early game, but this is quite expected, no? The Lancelot really does take a very short time to have a power spike like this one.
Yeah, and mid to the late game is the timer here for Blacklist International with their Harith, with their YSS as well. So they don't need to rush into things, they don't need to force a lot of things, and that's what we're seeing. They're just trying to go for the towers, and meanwhile Bren Esports respecting that, they're going for wins everywhere else.
Joy Boy as well, but look at that, blazing duet. Hindi nga lang tumama, actually tumama sa madami. Falling Star muna as well. The healing coming in from the Queen is more than enough to keep them alive. Men, napakagandang blazing duet galing kay Kebs, pero sabi ni Venus, hindi pwede.
The heal and the response, and this is it.
The response from Blacklist International is just too real. With a snap of a finger, nagkaubusan ng Torre, nagkaubusan ng kills. Blacklist International equalizes the gold lead.
A great chance and a great response by Bren Esports. Sinabi mo na nga, ang ganda ng pasok doon ni Kev's blazing duet. Akala ko nga makaka-triple kill siya. But the domain of the Moon Goddess, blessing of the Moon Goddess, the ultimate of that Estes, is absolutely being able to heal through everything. Kahit na may dominance ice na si Joy Boy, not enough to reduce the healing that the Estes can provide. Bren Esports, they are playing well in this game though, but Blacklist International showing a classic Blacklist response. Ube, grouped together, counter-engaged, punished. Loving this match so far.
That was a perfect blazing duet coming from Kevs. And Bren Esports, akala talaga nating lahat yun na yun That was the Bren Esports moment, but the total deny coming in from the blessing of the Moon Goddess. And now, in terms of objectives, alamang ang Bren Esports dito. May turtle na sila kung gusto nila dagdagan ng Lord. Sino kaya makakapagsipo ng Lord dito? Saksa ng Lord, pero low HP na siya. Here comes the Blazing Duet. Babagsak ang Claude. Sabi ng Hari, hindi yan pwede dito. And now, Abyssal Arrow will land, and that is the fight. 1 kill for Blacklist, but the Lord will be secured by Bren.
Great adjustment there by Granzu at saka si Medivh. Dahil yung ultimate ni YSS, the Mountain Shocker, nahinto yung pagtipi ni Saksa Jago at nakita sa mapa na sobrang low na niya. So dumaan doon si Granzu at saka si Medivh para ma-cover lang yung takas niya. Great response there by Bren Esports.
Oh, wait a minute, Harith. Here comes the Zaman Force. Low HP na dito si Haji. Pero mukhang may lang napunta sa torre. And there goes the Eden. He's got the bit of damage coming in from Saksa. It's insane. But he's gonna go down. And now Kev, the next place duet not yet available. Here comes the stun. Tumama na rin dito sa backline ng Saksa International. Killing spree without Traceless. 4 twice. It's just insane. 2 for 1 ang ating exchange. At Lord ang kanilang next target.
Very close game dahil sa engagement na nangyari doon sa orange buff. Nakatulak ang Lord sa bottom lane. Nawala yung second tower ng Blacklist International. But Blacklist International responding really well in that engagement. Being able to sidestep, step away from that Blazing Duet, step away from the abilities that could damage them. It ended up becoming a 2-for-1 trade with Blacklist International winning it. But Bren Esports fans and Bren Esports themselves will be happy with the fact that yes, nawala yung torre dun sa bottom lane. There's a little bit more control or a little bit more opportunities to keep the control. One thing we have to take into consideration as well is early on in an item check, maybe around 4 or 5 minutes ago, nakita natin Haji and Oh My Venus, pareha sila nag-build ng Dreadnought armor. Tingnan natin kung bubuin nila parehas yung anti-crash, pero nakakatulong yun sa pagbaba ng damage ng Claude at ng Lancelot.
Yeah, and Bren Esports right now, they're trying to re-establish pressure that they lost in the past few fights, no? And effective naman ang kanilang ginagawa. And in fact, 2K na lang ang gold lead ng Blacklist International. Blacklist, on the other hand, would like to exert more pressure around that bot side. And controlled na rin nila ang red side map ng Bren Esports. And it's up to Bren to actually find another fight. Kasi 30 seconds na lang, magkakaroon ulit ng Lord.
This could be a big Lord fight here. Depende kung paano i-manage nila Granzu at nila Dominic ang mga side lanes nila. Top side, minion wave, Granzu on the way to force that push para ma-force si Dominic na mag-clear. Unang makakabalik sa Lord pit, baka si Granzu if he decides to go back to the rest of Bren Esports tapos ng clear ng minion wave. Dominic also ready to respond real quickly. 4 versus 4 scenario potentially, dalawang XP laner. Now it's a split push. It's gonna be 4 members near this Lord. Both teams just trying to find an information and opening to go in. Brute Force Breastplate pickup here for Kevs. Could help him with reducing the damage that's being dished out by the YSS at galing sa Paquito.
Yeah, and Blacklist International, they do have a priority over this Lord area considering na mas malapit sila. But that doesn't mean hindi kayang pumasok ng Bren Esports. They have a lot of dashes, they have long range engage, and Few is one crucial Abyssal Arrow away from potentially changing this game for Bren Esports. Pero tingnan nyo naman, napakabilis ng Lord. Here comes the Zaman Force, and looks like Lord will be secured by Blacklist International. Kailangan na mag-back ng Bren Esports, and they're gonna back out a 5-man strong. Pero ng Lord ay magmamarcha na sa mid lane ng Blacklist.
Good call by Blacklist International. Pagkita sa mapa ng Blacklist International with the Mountain Shocker, kita nila Saksa Jago just a few steps too far from this Lord na kaya nila i-rush yung Lord. Domain of the Moon Goddess dropped down by Oh My Venus to slow down the members of Blacklist. Marching down the mid lane with the Lord. Will Blacklist try to end it here?
Luminous Lord, kitang-kita ang pagbunggo at pagbagsak ng mid lane turret. They could go for the base here. Wala pa namang bawas na nagaganap, pero mukhang naubusan din sila ng minions. That is nice wave clear coming in from Bren Esports. They live to tell another day. Nagkamali na ako, no? Pero Blacklist International, they're still trying to exert pressure now, this time in the bottom right.
has been destroyed.
Still focused on the towers. Haji trying to toss in Joy Boy, pero di makita. See Blacklist trying to end it here. No, they back off. Bren Esports, depensahan nila unti yung Torre nila sa top lane, but halos wala ng Torre ang Bren. Tingnan natin kung makakabalik sila sa laban to. Haji picking up the Oracle. That's gonna be more healing received galing sa Estes.
And now 90 seconds away from the next Lord. This is going to be a slow, I think it's gonna be a slow game for sure. Kumbaga, babagalan na nila. Blacklist International, they know that they're ahead. 2 inhibitor turrets down for the side of Bren Esports. Meanwhile, for Bren Esports, they're gonna try to continue to find those small opportunities na tumama ang Abyssal Arrow. Pero napakahirap kasi yan, especially if you have Mountain Shocker, just constantly checking kung nasaan kayo.
8k gold lead for Blacklist International. Bren Esports is trying to manage the minion waves. Blacklist, hinihintay nila ang next Lord. Pero kung makahanap sila ng opening, they will try to go for it. The Abyssal Traps placement here for Bren Esports, giving a little bit information, might slow down the minion waves a little bit there in the top lane, just trying to control the situation para hindi mabasag yung Torre nila doon sa taas. Blacklist not gonna be able to take it. 40 seconds bago mag-spawn yung Lord.
Defensive play coming in from Bren Esports. Isang lane na lamang ang natitira sa kanila na may inhibitor turret. Kailangan talaga nilang alagaan ang kanilang top side. Meanwhile, mid and bot lane will be marching on or slow pushing ng passively na lamang dahil basag na ang kanilang inhibitor turrets. And this is really bad for Bren Esports considering that Lord is on the other side of the map na malayo sa mga open lanes nila.
Haji, Mr. Salik Imam holding down that front line for Blacklist International. Meanwhile, Mr. Vincent de Guzman, Joy Boy, trying to do the same there for Bren Esports. One opening is what these two teams are looking for as Y starts the Lord.
Well, this might just be the opening. Haji gets pulled in together with Wise, but the first coming in from Saxa. Wise is down. Blessing the Moon Goddess, hindi na nakilang kanilang core. And here comes the Lancelot. Here comes Joy Boy na buhay pa rin. And looks like Gibbs. Hindi mapupuhay si Wise. Nandun pa rin pala. Hindi basta-basta bumabagsak ang core ng M3. And now Blacklist International, they're gonna take this Lord. Men, akala ko talaga bumagsak na si Wise doon kasi nasa gitna siya ng Thorn Throws. Pero clutch pa yung heal ng The Queen.
The second chance, the healing power of that Estes na naman ay isa pang gandang setup galing sa Bren Esports. Alam nila kailangan nila abutin si Wise doon sa Lord Pit. And if not, sasagot si Wise doon sa laban na yun. And it looked like it was a win for Bren Esports again. Kevs with another beautiful entry with that blazing duet. Undeniable great setup by Joy Boy. Granzu got to hit the falling star moon, but Blacklist International was able to respond and was able to readjust mid-team fight again to make sure they stay alive. And of course, the healing from the Estes, malaking bagay din binibigay ng healing galing sa Estes.
Men, hindi ko na ma-explain. Talagang nakita ko sa sarili kong mata nasa gitna ng Thorn Throws si Wise. Pero napabuhay pa rin ang Queen. Ako nahuli ang isa. And there goes Alda. Here comes the blessing of the Moon Goddess. Wala pa rin babagsak para sa ng Blacklist International sa double kill para na hari ng sunod-sunod na nababagsak na ng mga heal na nagagamit sa Blacklist International enough para mabuhay sila. At base na nga kanilang call. And game 1 goes to Blacklist International.
What a great showing from Blacklist, but also a great showing for Bren Esports. Kaya ito yung laban na sa prime time eh. Ganda ng pinakita ng dalawang teams, pero nakikita natin na sobrang menacing pa ng Estes. Wala pang M3 skin yan ha. On the way pa yun. But it is still being played to